Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vishali Navasisha Sunyavari Pashtatara Satani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Mother Sahachari, Mother, you can read Kapura Goram Twitichamtik Ambaram. Sorry, continue.
Okay, thank you. Text 50. Karpura Gauram Tridarsham Digambaram Chandraha Maulim Lalitam Trisulinam Ganga Jalamalam Jatavali Dharam Basmangam Ragam Ruchira Stiti Malinam.
Yeah, nice, isn't it? Nice Sanskrit. Carry on.
Three-eyed, white like camphor, dressed only by the sky. That exquisitely beautiful person carried a trident and bore the half-moon on his head. His matted locks brilliantly adorned by the Ganga. His body was smeared with ashes and graced by a charming garland of bones. Commentary. Lord Shiva's garland of bones was in fact auspicious and beautiful because it was made from the bones of departed Vaishnavas.
Yeah, I think we read this last week. We finished off that, and I still find it quite amusing.
I do with 51.
Yeah, I find it quite amusing that he's got bones of the Vaishnavas. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to read this Sanskrit. You can if you want. I just got carried away a bit there, and then you followed on and read it.
Okay.
If it's too much, you can read the translation.
We'll be here all our life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Text 51. Sitting on his lap, a woman of fair complexion affectionately served him. Divine regalia surrounded him, more heavenly than the riches of heaven, and many followers attended him, their attractive forms and conduct just befitting his service. Commentary. Upon first seeing him, Gopakumara was unaware of who Lord Shiva was, and so describes him as Kamapi, someone, and although Gopakumara knew nothing about Lord Shiva's transcendental relationship with his wife, he describes her as Gauri, since he could see with his own eyes her beautiful golden complexion. At first sight, Gopakumara could recognize that the royal umbrella, chamara fans, and the other personal accoutrements of Lord Shiva were more excelled than those of demigods, and suitably exalted attendants with great devotion carried that umbrella, fanned Lord Shiva with the chamaras, and performed other services for him and his consort. The associates of Lord Shiva appeared very handsome, including Sri Ganesh with his large abdomen and elephant's head, and they all conducted themselves in an attractive manner. By worship of Ganesh or other demigods, one may attain a form with, for example, a protuberant belly and an elephant's head. But those who worship Lord Shiva, understanding that he is non-different from Sri Krishna, attain beautiful bodily forms only on Lord Shiva's planet. This is affirmed in the narration of Lord Shiva's battle with Andhaka in the Sri Vamana Purana, chapter 59.
Yeah, I think we brought up the question last week whether Lord Shiva has made his appearance in the Brhat Bhagavatam already, and I think Mother Radhkishore, I think we correctly said he had, but it seems like here it might not be completely correct because he doesn't know who he is. It says here, although Gopakumara knew nothing about Lord Shiva's transcendental relationship with his wife. Okay, that's different. Yeah, no, sorry, I stand corrected. No, it says here, although Gopakumara was unaware of who Lord Shiva was. So it seems like this is the first time. Yeah, because remember, this is a common theme of Gopakumara, that he's quite innocently in ignorance. He's not aware of the devas, not aware of the different residents in different planets. He wasn't aware of even Lord Brahma. He wasn't even aware of different incarnations of the Lord. And it seems like he's not aware of who Lord Shiva is, but he's finding out now. Just a little small detail. But you can continue, Mother. Text 52.
Yeah, text 52. Feeling the greatest surprise and delight, I thought, who is this? Accompanied by such an entourage and appearing from above the abode of liberation. Text 53. He looks more powerful than anyone in the material world, more excellent than all liberated souls. Yet, he seems to violate the rules of civilized behavior like a great sense gratifier. Commentary. It struck Gopkumara as strange that even though this unique person appeared to be the supreme ruler of the material world, the defender of religious principles, he was ignoring the rules of proper behavior by traveling naked, embracing his wife in public, and so on, enjoying all kinds of sense gratification, even though he seemed a fully liberated transcendentalist.
Okay, this is Lord Shiva. He's a bit of a, can be quite bewildering, and he's quite bewildering to Gopala. He seems to have, just by being in his proximity, he can understand that he's a very, very powerful person. But he's a bit confused by his mode of living. I'm not sure exactly what it means when he enjoys all kinds of sense gratification. Something's probably the sense gratification which we may relate to in this world. But one of them is, okay, he's been embraced by his wife, but what the other sense gratification is, perhaps chewing betel, I don't know.
Yeah. Does it sound Ganji?
Ganja, is it, does anyone know if Lord Shiva does actually smoke ganja? Or is it just the betrayal of his followers who smoke ganja?
I think it's the followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard that he smokes ganjas? Actually, I've never read it in Bhagavatam or any of our Sastra. I've heard Prabhupada speaks about his imitators who, because Lord Shiva...
Yeah, imitated.
Yeah, because Lord Shiva drank the poison from the milk ocean. Then his followers imitate him in smoking the poison and poison themselves with ganja. And through smoking ganja, they supposedly enter into higher states of Shiva consciousness. There's a whole big thing we get into. Because for them, Lord Shiva's the supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he has family life. He still has wife. He has children.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah. That's probably what it's mean by sense gratification. He's got his interesting son called Ganesh.
Yeah, Kartikeya.
Kartikeya. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it. I would say it's not as if he's I can say he's not as if he's going down, he's drinking in a pub, or he's doing sense gratification like that, or he's shopping somewhere. Different. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Let's
Prabhu, can I please ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, can you please expand on that one on page 492, where it says that those who worship Lord Shiva, understanding that he's non-different from Shri Krishna. Can you explain that? Expand that? This is text 51, the third line, fourth line from bottom. Text 51, fourth line from bottom. But those who worship Lord Shiva, understanding that he's not different from Shri Krishna.
Is it on this page that I'm showing here?
Text 52. Text 51, and the last para of text 51, the sort of the fourth line from the bottom of text 51.
Okay, but those who worship Lord Shiva, I got it. Understanding that he's not different from Shri Krishna.
Yeah, I just wanted you to please expand on that little bit more, please.
Yes, by worship of Ganesha, other demigods, one may attain a form with, for example, a protuberant belly and an elephant's head. Those who worship Lord Shiva, understanding that he is non-different, or Shri Krishna attains the bodily forms of Lord Shiva's planet. I think it's described, there's a verse in the Brahma Samhita which describes the tattva of Lord Shiva to be And it gives a comparison of milk and yogurt. Although
Okay.
milk and yogurt are the same substance, there is an actual difference in their constitution, although they are the same. So that's why
Yeah.
Shiva is in quite a unique category. He is not Jiva Tattva, and he is also not a Vishnu Tattva. He is considered to be, but he's considered to be in that sense non-different from Krishna.
Yeah.
What I can think of in regards to that verse from Brahma Samhita, his tattva is in of itself quite unique. So he's almost considered to be like Krishna. So here, those who worship Lord Shiva, understanding he is non-different from Krishna. Yeah, so he's simultaneously, again, this Achincha Beda, or Beda, simultaneously one in like milk and yogurt are the same, but also they are different. So that's
Yeah.
as far as I can say on that. It's quite a mystery.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody else?
I was thinking, Mahavishnu, like Advaita, Mahavishnu and Lord Siva. So Mahavishnu would not say Prakriti, right? Mahavishnu would not get involved with that, right, Krishna?
Yeah.
Then Lord Shiva is the one who, Mahavishnu will glance, but Lord Shiva is the one who would, in his form as Lord Shiva.
Yeah, he's the actual glance. He is
Yeah.
the actual glance. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So quite deep to penetrate, quite deep to understand.
That, yes.
Take it like that. Simultaneously, some aspects of him could be considered to be non-different. But of a further study, we do understand that there is a difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
Some aspects of their tattva, and it can be considered to be non-different.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for spotting that and bringing that out. And we go back to text 54. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Text 54. My mind was overcome by the weight of the supreme ecstasy. I felt from seeing him. I bowed down to him and those who were with him, and he gave me a compassionate glance. Text 55. Impelled by joy, I approached the leader of his companions, named Sri Nandishvara, and asked him in detail about this person and what he was doing. Commentary. Altogether unfamiliar with Lord Shiva, Gopakumara asked Sri Nandishvara, "Who is this? Where is his residence? Where is he going now?" Text 56. Nandishvara laughed and said to me, "O cowherd boy, devoted worshipper of Gopala, don't you recognize Lord Shiva, the Lord of the universe?" Commentary. Nandishvara found it amusing that a devotee of Lord Gopal could be ignorant of the identity of Lord Shiva. But since Gopakumara was a simple cowherd boy, Nandishvara thought he might be so poorly informed by calling Lord Shiva the Lord of the universe. Nandishvara tactfully told Gopakumara that since Lord Shiva is independent, he can apparently violate the laws of civilized behavior without blame. Text 57. He is the giver of material enjoyment and liberation, and he expands devotion to the personality of Godhead. He is worshipped even by the liberated and is dear to the Vaishnavas. Commentary. Lord Shiva is Bhagavad Bhakti Varadhana in more than one sense. By showing a loving attitude towards the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Shiva increases the Supreme Lord's reciprocal love for him. And apart from this, Lord Shiva himself, a great Lord, Bhagavan, who promotes the process of devotional service to Vishnu. He teaches his own devotees that Bhagavad Bhakti is the supreme goal of life, greater than all others. The essential meaning of Lord Shiva's being Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhana is that by his very words and behavior, he increases for the inhabitants of the universe their devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, he is very dear to the devotees of Lord Vishnu who aspire for his association.
Okay. So it's very dear to the Vaishnavas. Anyone know there's a phrase which devotees often quote from the Srimad Bhagavatam about Lord Shiva?
Is it Vaishnavanam?
Shambhu.
Yeah, that's it, Vaishnavam. He's just considered to be in some as to the topmost of Vaishnava.
Mhm.
And there's also a verse in the Bhagavatam, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shaktitam, that he's always meditating on, and his worshipable deity is Krishna, but Shankarshan. He meditates, he's always in trance, meditating on the Lord Shankarshan. In that sense, he's completely transcendental because of his deep meditation. Yeah. But here it seems that he actually instructs his devotees in the science of bhakti, Bhagavat Bhakti Mahadana. Yeah. So there's a prayers to Lord Shiva also by the Pachetas. Isn't it the prayers of Lord Shiva or the prayers given by Lord Shiva to the Pachetas, glorifying the Lord? Yeah. So, okay, we're hearing about Lord Shiva. Okay, you can continue another couple of verses. Then if anyone else would like to read, you're quite welcome to 58,
Okay.
9.
Text 58 to 59. Drawn by the devotion of his friend Kuvera, he is traveling with his beloved Parvati and dear gentle companions to grace Mount Kailash with his presence. He came from his own planet, as transcendental as he, and abode reached through devotion by those who can see, but those who see him and Lord Krishna as non-different. Commentary.
Yeah.
Here Nandish,
So it seems like he's not in Kailash. He's come from there. Yeah, he came from his own planet.
Kailash.
He's come to the place where Gopala is. So, yeah, carry on.
Commentary. Here Nandishvara explains where Lord Shiva comes from and where he is going. Lord Shiva's own planet, beyond the coverings of the material universe, is attainable by those who worship him and Lord Vishnu on the same level. That transcendental world is suitable for Lord Shiva's pleasure, equipped as it is with all kinds of eternal and unlimited opulence. Yet Lord Shiva gracefully accepts the friendship of the demigod Kuvera, the original proprietor of Mount Kailash, and submits himself to Kuvera's devotion. And so Lord Shiva, on his way to visit Kailash in the company of Parvati, his consort. Since Parvati, the mother of the universe, is Lord Shiva's supreme energy, Gopakumara should not be shocked to see her sitting on his lap in public. But why is Lord Shiva traveling with such a small entourage? Although on his own planet, he has many more devotees. For this trip, he has chosen only his dearmost associates because the Kailash within the material world can accommodate only some of his opulence and entourage.
Okay.
Text 60.
Yeah, there's a Kailash in the material world.
And Kailash from spiritual
And-
world. So it's coming from spiritual world to material world, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, yeah, also interesting here as well is that Gopala was shocked to see Parvati sitting in his lap in the assembly of his followers. So who else? This is an easy question, hopefully. Who else was quite shocked and
Chitraketu.
yeah, Chitraketu smiled in astonishment of appreciation to see Lord Shiva, such a transcendent personality, reciting Bhagavatam with Parvati on his lap. And we know what happened there. So also Gopala is quite taken aback, yeah, by his behavior. Okay, someone else like to read? Coming off in text 60.
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes. And also he's a good friend of Kuvera. Yeah, it seems that he's great to accept the friendship of demigod Kuvera.
You know, I was thinking of how Chitraketu and they just saw Shiva and Parvati like that. You know, I was just thinking that how the mind can make you think something that's not real, you know, like coming down to our level, my level anyway. That you
Yeah,
see and
yeah.
it's not meant, it is not what it should be, but you see it in a different way, and then you cause offenses or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's quite common. It's called making assumptions.
Yeah.
You know, like we hear something, we see something, and we come to certain assumptions, which may or may not be correct. So we should be careful how we may label or how we may critique someone or devotees to maybe something that we don't know, or perhaps we are not seeing things correctly, especially if there's some, if there's some envy towards someone, then the chances are you're going to see with a critical way. But yeah, so you're correct. So we should be careful. We should not have faith in our senses. We should have faith in Krishna, but we shouldn't have faith in our materially contaminated mind. Sometimes it may be correct, but also sometimes it may be wrong. So
often when you realize that it was wrong, your thinking was wrong, then you get to a point when you do come to that kind of situation, you just have to talk to your mind and say, remember how many times you've been wrong? So
yeah.
Yeah,
remember how many times you've been wrong, Mr. Mind?
Yes, so now we have something like that,
Yeah, I'm sure we've all got our own experiences of that.
Like that, you just have to do these things, otherwise the mind will just keep on telling you all sorts of things,
Yeah, and it's amazing what the mind can come up with. It is quite the mind is quite a drama queen. Anyone knows the drama queen?
24/7, Prabhu.
Yeah. Creates a drama when there's not one. Yeah, good point. Thank you. So yeah. So Gopal Kumar is similar. He's seeing, but he's not made this. Seems like he's not making the same mistake.
No, he isn't.
Yeah. He's in a different mood. He is not laughing. Otherwise, if he did, then look out. Parvati's there. He's just shocked. So he's not smiling. So otherwise, he would have Mother Parvati could have cursed him as well. Okay, Anupama Mavi can take 60.
Shri Gopal Kumar said, delighted to hear this, I was eager to obtain Lord Shiva's grace and fulfill a long-cherished desire. Commentary. Gopal Kumar was eager to understand how Lord Shiva is non-different from Sri Madan Mohana Deva. Although Gopal Kumar's natural inclination was towards the lotus feet of Madana Gopala, he also found himself unavoidably attracted to this amazing person, Lord Shiva, whom he was seeing for the first time. Gopal Kumar would be grateful if Lord Shiva were to enlighten him about how Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna are non-different.
All right, okay, so you asked that question. So now proper answer. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good.
A real answer. Okay.
Lord Shiva, reading my thoughts, ordered Nandeshwara with a knowing glance, and through Nandeshwara's pure guidance, the facts easily revealed themselves to me. Commentary. Lord Shiva, the best of mystics, knew at once what Gopal Kumar was thinking, and simply by glancing at Nandeshwara, conveyed his desire that Nandeshwara explain the matter. Srila Sanatana Goswami says is in commentary to this verse that Nandina can refer to Nandeshwara, the principal attendant of Lord Shiva, or else to the bull Nandi, Lord Shiva's carrier, who was born from a partial expansion of the Supreme Lord. Text 62. This Lord Shiva, I realized, is non-different from Madan Gopala, the deity I worship, the Lord more dear to me than life itself. Lord Shiva serves the cause of love for my Lord by promoting it everywhere. Commentary. There's nothing wrong with being attached to Lord Shiva, since he's not. Sorry. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being attracted to Lord Shiva, since he's not different from Lord Krishna. Devotion offered to him is also devotion to Krishna. More precisely, when one satisfied Lord Shiva by pure devotion to him, Lord Shiva helps one become more devoted to Krishna.
Okay, this is interesting, isn't it? It's something which we probably don't normally, it's not generally how Prabhupada explains it, or perhaps he does, but it seems like here, it's saying things which could be devotees will question here, like here. Since devotion, since he's non-different from Krishna. So if someone in a temple was to say, Lord Shiva is non-different from Krishna, If you if you have devotion to Lord Shiva, you also have devotion to Krishna. There will probably be devotees who take that as a challenge and will preach against it. More precisely, when one satisfies Lord Shiva by pure devotion to him. Now, can you have pure devotion? Is there such a thing as pure devotion to Shiva? I thought it was only to Krishna. Anyway, a few questions coming up.
Can you like serve him like the topmost Vaishnav to then pray to go to his own worshipable deity, which is Krishna?
Yeah, I think that might be in it. I think that might be what the explanation is.
Yeah.
He is like just see him like you would worship your guru. You know, he is a devotee of Krishna, the topmost devotee. So by offering him worship and praise, one is actually praising in that sense. The praise is actually going to the supreme, which is Krishna. That's one philosophical speculation.
Also, remember that pastime when Lord Shiva came to see Krishna as a baby, and Mother Yashoda won't let him, and then Krishna was crying, and they had to find Lord Shiva and bring him back, and then Krishna stopped.
Yeah, because he came to take darshan, and Mother Yashoda saw this ghastly form, bones around his neck and ash, and he's often depicted as having snakes around his arms and scorpion crawling in his hair. So she was aghast that she was thinking Lord Shiva would scare her young, beautiful Gopal. Then Gopal was crying, "Why did you turn that sadhu away?" Oh. Yeah, anyway, let's read on perhaps and see if we can untangle some of this. Yeah, carry on, Mother.
Text 63. I happily entered among Lord Shiva's companions and was treated with affection by all his devotees. From Sri Nandeshwara, I heard these unique facts. The great Lord Shiva has one eternal transcendental form. Dwelling in his own abode, he is always visible to his exclusive worshippers who are pleased to live there. Commentary. According to Sri Nandeshwara, Lord Shiva remains always in one form, meaning that he is not like Lord Mahakal, sometimes formless and sometimes having a personal form, nor does he expand himself as Lord Vishnu does into the different forms of a fish or tortoise and so on. In the pastimes Lord Shiva performs for the pleasure of his devotees, he sometimes appears disguised as a hunter or a fisherman, but he does not transform into different species of life. Because Lord Shiva's followers can rest assured he is not going to change his appearance, they are always satisfied. He is always visible on his planet, not like Lord Vishnu, who often leaves his abodes to visit other places. Lord Shiva's dear devotees can always see their Lord, unlike the devotees of Sri Vishnu, Sri Yagnaveshwara, and the other incarnations of the personality of Godhead on Swarloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. This is the explanation given by Sri Nandeshwara, but more precisely, Lord Shiva is always in the same form in the sense that his body is always purely spiritual, Satchit Ananda, and never subject to change. He is always present in his own abode, beyond the material creation, and so is always visible in that abode for the pleasure of his devotees.
Okay, so here's some interesting differences just to take note. As we know, Krishna takes on all types of forms, as we hear, hogs, half lion, half man, as we know, tortoise, etc. But not so for Lord Shiva. And it seems like, yeah, he's always in his abode. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Text 65. With festivals of singing, dancing, and so on, he always gives pleasure to his companions, as if to make them greedy for the Supreme Lord's devotional service, in which they see that he and Lord Vishnu are non-different. Commentary. Lord Shiva's festivals resound with the congregational chanting of Lord Vishnu's names, and his devotees can be heard crying out in great reverence and love for Lord Vishnu. It appears that Lord Shiva holds such festivals for the benefit of others, to induce them to take up worship of Lord Vishnu as non-different from himself. But in fact, Lord Shiva is himself fully absorbed in Vishnu Bhakti, because like Narad Muni, he is Bhakti, what's the word? Bhakti
Avatar.
Avatar. Bhakti Avatar. An empowered incarnation of the Lord in the role of Lord's devotee.
Okay, just remembering that there's actually a form of Lord Shiva. There's a deity form of half Lord Shiva and half Lord Vishnu. Anyone remember the name of that form? You can, when you go on Navadvip Parakram,
Haridev?
Harihara, yeah, Harihara, and the place is called Harihara.
Yeah.
Harihara Setra, beautiful place, beautiful mystical deity. So that's quite apt. There you go. There's the form where it's both Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. And apparently, I can't remember all the details of the story, but vaguely, just paraphrasing the story, Lord Shiva was in so much ecstasy of devotion to Lord Vishnu that half his body he transformed into Lord Vishnu in his ecstasy. So it was Lord Shiva, but in the kirtan is surging through with smaranam of Lord Vishnu in so much ecstasy. It manifests as actually Lord Vishnu. So Hari Hara Shatra. Who's been there? Who's seen this deity?
Me.
Anybody?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Lotika's been there. Navadvip Parakram. And we won't go into the whole story, but the deity has quite a story. It got stolen. And then it got found. He was found dumped in a river. Apparently, some thieves thought he was made of a precious metal. So they stole the deity. This was a number of years ago. And this deity was then kept in safekeeping by the police. And that safekeeping was in a prison cell behind bars. So then Pankajanu and Jalanivas would go and worship and offer bhoga to this Harihara locked in a prison cell. Then eventually this trust which Prabhupada formed to maintain temples, the dilapidated temples, then they built this temple with strong gates in order to protect the deity. ISKCON ISKCON, what's it called? Charitable Trust built it, and so therefore the police allowed Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, the deity, out of prison and to stay in the temple. So, and we camped there on Navadvip Parakram. Actually, last time I was there, it wasn't an overnight spot. It used to be in the past, but then they started to charge too much money for the ISKCON camp to be there, so they camped somewhere else. Please go see this beautiful deity. If you haven't, go to Navadvip and go to see this beautiful deity. Yeah, someone. Okay. Okay, you can read on, Mother.
Text 66. Although is Lord of the universe, he always lovingly worships his favorite form of the Supreme Lord.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Carry on.
Sorry. Yeah. He always lovingly worships his favorite form of the Supreme Lord, Shesha, of 1,000 faces as if a humble servant. Commentary. Lord Shiva feels special affinity with the Ananta Shesha, expansion of Lord Shankarshana, because both Lord Shiva and Shesha are presiding lords of the mode of ignorance. This is depicted in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5.17.16, in the account of how Lord Vishnu is worshipped on, is it Lilavat? Vasha. In Lilavat Vasha, Lord Shiva is always encircled by 10 billion maidservants of goddess Durga who minister to him. The quadruple expansion of the Supreme Lord consists of Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. Sankarshana, the 4th expansion, is certainly transcendental, but because his activities of destruction in the material world are in the mode of ignorance, he is known as Tamsi, the Lord's form in the mode of ignorance. Lord Shiva, knowing that the original cause of his own existence is Lord Shankarshana, always meditates upon Shankarshana in trance by chanting the following mantra. As stated by Lord Shiva in his prayers in the 5th canto, the manifestation of Lord Shankarshana as an Antashesha has thousands of hoods. And so this form is different in appearance from the form of Lord Shankarshana, worshipped in the covering shell of Ahankara, false ego. In Lord Shiva's abode, the region of Ankara, Lord Shankarshana has 4 arms, like Sri Pridumna and Anuruddha. Lord Shiva's abode in this is thus a very special place.
Well, I could
Text
certainly do a exhaustive study on Lord Shiva. Lots of details, you know. Okay, carry on.
Text 67. Learning about this unique excellence of Shivaloka, I felt exceedingly happy. Yet my heart I knew was not full. Commentary. Hearing all this made Gopakumara eager to see Shivaloka, but his persistent desire to find Sri Madan Gopala constrained him. Text 68. I couldn't discern the cause of that feeling, by the mercy of my divine spiritual master, I'd received the transcendental mantra, and the power of my service to the mantra, after some reflection, I quickly understood. Commentary. By virtue of constantly meditating with full sincerity on the 10-syllable Gopa mantra, Gopakumara could understand in a moment the essence of his predicament. Text 69. I was disturbed because of forgetting the lotus feet of Shriman Madan Gopal and his pastimes and other attractive features. Commentary. In this circumstance, Gopakumara was unable to focus his mind on Sri Madana Gopala's pastimes, beauty, sweetness, and compassion. Text 70. I told my mind that it is Lord Shiva himself who performs these wonderfully varied pastimes in the special form of Lord Gopala. Text 71. By seeing my mind still unsettled, I told it, if you fail to perceive something in Lord Shiva, it must be the rare sweetness of Gopala's beauty and his other such qualities. Text 72. Nonetheless, by Lord Shiva's mercy, your long-held desire will soon be fulfilled. By special favor towards you, be assured this will be so. Text 73. My mind was thus appeased, and I was happy to stay a while by the side of Lord Shiva, who for some reason chose to take rest before going on with his journey. Commentary. While Lord Shiva rested in Mahakalpura before proceeding to Kailash is disclosed in the next verses.
So let's just what's here? So it seems like because of Lord Shiva's again absorption and ecstasy of devotion to Krishna in his form of Shankarshan, therefore, because I'm speculating here, therefore, because he embodies, because of that meditation, he very much is considered to be non-different from Krishna. So that's why Gopakumara is feeling this attraction, because he's attracted by his worshipable deity, whose qualities are manifesting in the person of Lord Shiva. But there's a difference. And this verse, where was it? Yeah, so I'm scrolling around here. The difference is that Lord Shiva doesn't have the rare sweetness of Gopal's beauty and his other such qualities. Yeah. So there is a difference, and this is the difference that is mentioned. Yeah. Okay, anything on that? Before I mention that, just kind of trying to understand myself what's being said here. Okay, so let's see what he's dreaming about. Okay, continue.
Sorry, 72 isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, go on. So I'm scrolling around everywhere here. Go on. 72.
Nonetheless, by Lord Shiva's mercy, your long-held desire will soon be fulfilled. by special favor toward you. Be assured this will be so. My mind was thus appeased and I was happy to stay a while by the side of Lord Shiva, who for some reason chose to take rest before going on with this journey.
Okay, just go to the next verse. You did read that.
Oh, sorry, I read that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Text 74. Just then, my lord, I heard from a distance the extremely sweet melodies of the singing of great souls. Commentary. Gopakumar calls his disciple Bhagwan, showing deep respect because the disciple is the Mathura's Brahmana and is now blessed with the supreme good fortune of being engaged in the worship of Lord Madan Gopal. Text 75. Hearing that sound, Lord Shiva was swept away in an ocean of great ecstasy. Under the spell of intense love of God, he began to dance alone. Commentary. Whatever the sound was, it is at once caused transcendental symptoms in the body of the Lord Shiva, symptoms of profound transformations in his mind, trembling, perspiration, choking of the voice, standing of the bodily hair on end, falling to the ground, and more. These appeared spontaneously beyond his conscious control. He then started to dance, though no one around him was dancing.
Yeah. What's his dance called? You know, Lord Shiva's dance?
Is it Nataraj, isn't it? Nataraj?
Yeah, he's known as Nataraj. That's what he's, yeah, that's what he's done. So also,
I think it's called Tandav Nritya.
okay, yeah. So you better watch out because when Lord Shiva starts dancing,
That's it. We're
then,
ready.
then the universes start becoming destroyed. So let's see how far his ecstasy goes.
His most faithful wife, Devi, and his companions, added by Nandishwara, added to the enthusiasm of their Lord by playing music, chanting the Supreme Lord's name, and so on. Commentary. Far from resenting her husband's losing his composure, the goddess Parvati, the most faithful of chaste wives, encouraged him, following his lead. Even while still sitting on his lap, before he stood up to dance, she began to accompany him with music.
Okay, so it sounds like his wife has got fired up and she's picked up the wampus. Picked up another madanga. Really getting into the kirtan. Yeah. Don't forget, Lord Shiva's naked. So it's a great text. Yeah. Carry on.
77. Then suddenly I saw a group of attractive four-armed persons arrive, adorned with all the opulence of youth, charm, beauty, and good fortune. Commentary. Some of the attendants who sang at Lord Shiva's side as he danced had four arms also, but the newly arrived four-armed persons were exceptionally beautiful. Text 78. The limbs so effulgent as to decorate their very ornaments and make the Shivites seem invisible. Those four-armed persons were immersed in the blissful rasa of singing the sublime glories of their Lord.
Okay, so without, I think these you could say, I would say these are Vaikuntha basis. Yeah, four-armed forms. So they've come to join the kirtan. I think I might guess what's going to happen. It kind of gives it away here. Their limbs are very they made the Shaivites seem invisible. So obviously, what's going to happen here to Gopakumar is what normally happens.
He's going ecstasy himself, I guess.
No, he's going to say, "Who are these persons?"
Yeah.
Then
The
they
four
go, they are. Yeah, you got it. Oh, these come from Vaikuntha, and he's going to say, "Vaikuntha, what's Vaikuntha?" etc.
Yeah,
It sounds like he's on his way to Vaikuntha now. Let's see. Carry on. 79.
Text 79. All the ornaments and accoutrements were beautiful beyond words, and in the company of those persons were the four brothers I had seen before, led by Sanaka. Commentary.
Yeah.
All the Sanaka and his brothers reside on Tapaloka, where Gopakumar had met them before. They are as exalted as residents for Brahmaloka and regions even higher,
because they are empowered incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Text 80. So attractive was my mind by the spontaneous joy of seeing them that I was aware of nothing but them, internally or externally, not even things more dear to me. Text 81. After a moment, I came back to normal consciousness. But oh, I couldn't bring myself to ask them to make me their servant. I felt too afraid and embarrassed to ask them such an unlikely blessing, even silently within my mind. Commentary. Gopala thought it would be offensive for such an insignificant person as he to ask for the exalted position of a servant of the Vaikuntha messengers, so he couldn't summon the courage to submit his request. Text 82 to 83. Simply by embracing them, Lord Shiva could suddenly go into a swoon of prema, and in my wretchedness, a certain longing troubled me. A longing that just once, by the mercy of Lord Shiva, these persons might somehow talk to me, or in some pretext might save me by the mercy of their sidelong glance. Commentary. Gopala thought that only the mercy of these wonderful persons would save him from dying untimely out of frustration, without even knowing who they were, and from where they had come. He was convinced they were great souls. Text 84. The goddess Uma, who always acts in accord with Lord Shiva's heart, understood what I was thinking. She then had Ganesha gently address me. Commentary. Ganesha spoke to Gopala in a quiet voice because what he was about to say was too confidential for all the companions of Lord Shiva to hear. Lord Shiva's consort Parvati, or Uma, always present in her husband's heart, acts only with his sanction. Text 85. Sri Ganesha said, these are associates of the ruler of Vaikuntha, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. They have attained bodily forms similar to his and have come here from Vaikuntha itself. Commentary. Here the word kila means certainly this is true. You should not doubt that they have come from the spiritual world. Text 86 to 87. Just see these other Vaikuntha companions of the Lord, traveling in this small universe, ruled by four-headed Brahma, and further away those others, moving swiftly in the universe of an eight-headed Brahma, a world twice as large, and those others in the world of a Brahma with 16 heads, a world twice as large again. Commentary. To show that these visitors Vaikuntha were indeed extraordinary, Sri Ganesha pointed out more of them entering the other side of the universe, a great distance away on some other mission. And beyond this relatively small universe of four-headed Brahma, still other Vaikuntha messengers were visiting the world of an eight-headed Brahma, which was 1 billion yojanas in diameter, twice as big as this one. They were traveling swiftly, Vegata, because that universe is so large. Ganesha further showed the same thing happening in a universe is still larger.
Okay, so this is a significant point for Gopala, because up to this point, he's been traveling within this shell of the material worlds. Although the upper transcendental planets of the great sages, etc., and the demigods, although they're very elevated abodes, they are not Vaikuntha. And Vaikuntha makes up the actual mass of reality. Whereas where each universe and the different planets within a universe is like a small mustard seed, sometimes grouped together. But now he's seeing the residents of Vaikuntha. So you can just reflect back on how he's been impressed and affected by going to these other amazing abodes. So now he's going to go cross over the Viraja River, I think, is going to be going to Vaikuntha. So this is going to have quite an effect on him. And you could say it's closer to modern Gopal, but still he's got some distance to go. Just want to highlight that. Okay, you might as well carry on reading for the last 5 minutes, Mother.
Okay, text
Can't see any
88
hands
to,
out there. Yeah.
okay, text 88 to 89. In this way, Ganesha showed me many Vaikuntha companions of the Lord, traveling with ease in the millions and billions of universes of multitudes of huge Brahmas who had millions and billions of lotus faces. The Vaikuntha devotees, attractive to the eyes and mind, all had suitable bodies and were suitably equipped for the universes they were visiting. Commentary. One after another, Ganesha pointed out messengers from Vaikuntha in the universe of Brahma with 32 heads, 64 heads, 128 heads, and so on. Gopakumar could perceive no end for these countless universes. Then there are, in fact, material universes beyond counting is stated in scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam. What am I? A small creature measuring 7 spans of my own hand. I'm enclosed in a pot-like universe composed of material nature, the total material energy, false ego, ether, air, water, and earth. And what is your glory? Unlimited universes pass through the points of your body, just as particles of dust pass through the openings of a screened window. Bhagavatam 10, 14, 11. Because you are unlimited, neither the lords of heaven nor even yourself can ever reach the end of your glories. The countless universes, each enveloped in its shell, are compelled by the wheel of time to wander within. You, like particles of dust blowing about in the sky, and the Shrutis following their method of eliminating everything separate from the Supreme, become successful by revealing you as a final conclusion. Bhagavatam 10, 87, 41. Every universe is covered by 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, sky, the total energy, and false ego, each 10 times greater than the one previous. Besides our universe, there are innumerable others, and although unlimitedly large, they move about like atoms in you. Therefore, you are called unlimited, Ananta, Bhagavatam 6, 16, 17. Gopakumar could easily see into all the material universes from where he stood in the abode of liberation, because that realm is free from any covering of material energy. In each universe, he saw the Vaikuntha messengers had assumed forms with a different size and showed potencies just suitable for that universe. Had the visitors from Vaikuntha not made themselves appear similar in size and form to the inhabitants of the universe they were visiting, those inhabitants would not receive them with the respect deserved by representatives of Lord Narayan.
Sorry, Hare Krishna, can I ask a question there?
Please, yes.
It's not totally related, but it's about traveling about the universe, I guess. Because India are really celebrating, they've just landed on the moon.
Oh,
yeah, they're having they're celebrating their first moon landing. And I had a look at the picture. It doesn't look like a heavenly planet at all. And I was just wondering, like, ISKCON India, are they going to say, sorry, you didn't land on the moon? Because they're going to look like a couple of conspiracy theorists. But actually, they must not have landed on the moon because the moon is a heavenly planet. So are they faking it, or do they think they went to the moon, or what are they doing?
well, I guess we can only reflect back to Prabhupada's comments on the quote-unquote so-called moon landing by America back in the late 50s, wasn't it? Or the early 60s?
60s, yeah.
Well, we should be a bit dubious of their so-called claims. You know, Prabhupada, he said different things. He said he said sometimes he would speak in such a way that that they didn't go there because the moon planet is a heavenly planet, and where they went didn't fit the same description. So we should.
I think this might be the first edition since then.
Sorry? I
I
missed.
think this must be the first. So I think that India now are celebrating, like, I think this might be just the second moon landing.
Yeah, I don't think any of
Nothing
the.
else has gone since America's over.
Sorry, I think it's just a satellite landing. It's not actually a manned landing, as far as I understand it.
Oh, yes.
Just a
Yeah.
No, they lost.
yeah,
They magically
satellites.
lost the technology to go there again. Even though technology is evolved, they lost the old technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
guess,
still, they took pictures of the moon. They still, on the satellite, they still took pictures of the moon. And it looks like a really horrible
Material
place.
pictures. Material pictures, Lavangamata.
yeah. So we should take
Yes.
it. We shouldn't take it on face value, you know, because of what we understand from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I think, yeah, Mother Guy is bringing up that amusing. Anyone there's, I think you're quoting from. There's one. Something happened on the way to the moon. There's this documentary which is pretty good, and it highlights this. It highlights the so-called landing on the moon. And in one interview, actually NASA, they was pressured to share the original film documentation of the landing on the moon. And do you know what they said in all seriousness? They said, sorry, we have lost all the tapes. And they said that as an official statement. It was an official statement that we've one of the most significant steps for mankind, and they happen to have lost all the original material. So as that was suspicious, that would raise a lot of suspicions. We should have a lot of suspicions about this so-called Indians module landing on the moon. Things people can do with computer graphics and etc. It can fool anyone. So, and it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure devotees like Chaitanya Charan, Indian devotees, will give some comments in it. So let's see what they say. And I'm sure ISKCON's.
That's what I was thinking. Chaitanya Charan will probably definitely have something to say.
I'm sure, there's a lot of preachers in India who are quite there in the public eye. They're doing massive preaching, so I'm sure they're going to be have to give some comments on it. So let's see what they say.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we've heard a lot about Lord Shiva here, Lord Shiva Tattva. Very interesting. That statement in the beginning is non-different from Vishnu in some ways. And now we're here now. Gopala Kumar is seeing these Vaikuntha buses, so he's now intrigued. So he's going to continue on his journey. Okay, so thank you everyone again for tuning in. This is one of my favorite readings. Is Brhat Bhagavatamrta. Always amazing. Okay, Hare Krishna. So see you next week. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious weekend. Sure, there's lots going on as usual. Different programs. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhupada.
Praise Murli Manohar Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.